Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can see the skyline of Pittsburgh there behind me. You guys voted to send me to Pittsburgh, and so I have arrived. It is day 11 of the Choose My Adventure road trip. Of course, we did have a slight hiccup going through Ohio. Spent a little more time in Ohio than was planned, but I wanted to come out here and enjoy the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and to see the wonderful view of the skyline. But we have an actual way to get a better view of Pittsburgh, a better view than that, and that is to use the Duquesne Incline here behind me. This was built in the 1870s as a way to get cargo up to the top of Mount Washington. Later, when people started building homes up there, they converted it into a way to transport passengers to the top of the mountain, and it is still in operation today. So I figured we take a trip up to the top of Mount Washington to get a good view of Pittsburgh. I was a little confused on how to pronounce that, but apparently it is Duquesne somehow. You can see the car there heading upwards to the top of the mountain. You can see the cars are synced up. When one of them starts going up, the other starts coming down. See, they actually pass each other there in the middle. So I parked my car down there in this paid parking lot below the incline and walked up along the sidewalk. But to enter the incline, I guess we gotta cross over this pedestrian footbridge over the highway. So it's $2.50 for a one-way trip. I guess $5 for a round trip. And look at that. A happy little rail car there. So we enter the station here. All right, sitting down here waiting for our car to arrive. So we enter through one of these two doors. All right, we're gonna head up. Oh, there's the car there. All right, entering the car here. I guess we'll be heading up the mountain there. Oh, of course, closing by itself there. Oh, and there we go. Heading up the mountain there. We look out back window there as we rise up. See if the other car is coming. Oh, there it is.
Is this in the background?
Car coming there. So we're getting ready to pass. You can see the lantern there swinging.
Isn't that beautiful?
We're pulling back up here to the top of the incline. All right, let's go explore up here atop Mount Washington. Here are some of the souvenirs that they sell. You have actual coffee cup with that happy railroad car on it. There's a Christmas tree ornament, as well as you have a flask here so you can sneak some sips while riding back down. It says that they have an observation deck over here. And here is our observation deck where we can observe the city of Pittsburgh. Wow. It is quite a view from up there. There you can see downtown Pittsburgh. I'm gonna walk down the street here a bit. Supposedly there is a park that has an overlook, the Grandview Overlook, that supposedly is the second, was rated the second best overlook in the United States. Whew, and after quite a walk here, we found our way to the Grandview Overlook. And let's see what kind of view we have here on the Grandview Overlook. Wow. Pretty nice. You can see pretty much the entire city of Pittsburgh from up here. Look over that way. Is there some sort of stadium there? See some boats there down along the river. And just look at all those bridges going in and out of Pittsburgh. To head back down the mountain. There they go. Now they actually have a museum downstairs where you can actually see the inner workings of the incline. You can see that big wheel there that pulls the cable, and go into this room here. Yeah, you can see the cable being pulled there. Pretty crazy. See the next car coming back up. Alright. Back in the car. Get ready to head back down the mountain. Oh, here we go. See the cars, you can see the train, and you can see the incline. Ooh. Now, one thing that was recommended for me to check out is the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. We've come down here to downtown Pittsburgh. Out here in front of the museum, you have the statue of Dippy, the Diplodocus, kind of their mascot here. We can see that he is wearing a scarf there. So we've seen lots of statues that we've seen on the strip been wearing scarves because of the colder weather, and that even extends to dinosaurs. And we start off here with one of the museum's most iconic and controversial displays. This is called Lion Attacking a Dromedary. This was made in 1867. A taxidermy display. You can see the lion attacking the man there and the camel. There is a deceased female lion there on the ground. But this display has a huge amount of controversy around it. The first controversy, and this is actually kind of startling, is they used a real human head in creating it. You can see they've fashioned around it, created a wax face around it, but they actually used a real human skull to create the head, and no one knows whose skull it is or how it was acquired. And it says here actually the diorama is working to remove the skull as a show of respect for the person that had their skull turned into a museum display. And as you can see, in addition to talking about the human remains, they've put other controversies here with this tableau. It says it pits humans against nature. It says it goes against the museum's values to show, extreme violence between humans and animals, and says it contains inaccuracies. And what it's talking about is the man riding the camel. It is not necessarily portraying a person of like a certain culture. He's just kind of a mishmash of various cultures. There wasn't a lot of care put into making an actual portrayal of a certain culture. It says it reinforces colonial views. It says that the lion, often seen as a symbol of colonialism, shown attacking the person of color. Talks about it minimizing violence. Talks about how this scene can be upsetting to people that see violence towards minorities in modern day. I do think the museum has handled this in a good way. Instead of just like taking it off exhibit or pushing it away or hiding it away, they've addressed the criticism. People have raised criticisms about this tableau. I do think it is, artistically speaking, it's a beautiful piece, but obviously there is some problems, given that there's human remains in the tableau. But people have raised their concerns, so the museum, instead of hiding it, has just addressed those concerns and teaching the controversy. Of course, this is a beautiful building there. You can see from the amazing staircase. See some artwork here. Figure there crawling up that ladder. And this piece is called The Maja Rediscovered. Interesting. The Hall of Sculpture here, and a very interesting sculpture indeed. Looks like a bunch of old crinkled mylar balloons. In fact, I think that's actually what they are. I think these are mylar balloons. So it's this way into the actual natural history section of the museum, and in an odd twist, we're actually entering through the gift shop. Right here in the gift shop, you see something you don't see very often. That's a taxidermied panda. Even though he's in the gift shop, I do not think he is for sale. So if you want to purchase a panda here, you have to settle for one of these. You have an Alaskan wolf over here being dive bombed by this little bird here, the lesser yellowlegs. What is the yellowlegs doing there? Is he trying to take out the wolf? So we enter through the geology section. See, these displays are all made out of chunks of earth that you walked into. Looks like you walk in there to watch a video. We'll push the close button. Where are we? Oh. Oh, it says doors will stay open. I guess the doors are not functioning. We're the Stratovator. Okay, he's gonna give us a lesson on coal mining. See, back when Pennsylvania was an ocean full of fish and squids with shells. It's a Pennsylvania coal forest. We have these monstrous salamanders. You can actually look in the lab here, the paleo lab, where they are working on fossils. Looks like they're putting together that skeleton in there. Well, it doesn't look like there's any paleontologists currently on duty. Oh, here's a mastodon neck. There's the mastodon skull there. Here we have an early relative of the crocodile, and it says here that in the Triassic period that dinosaurs were actually not on the top of the food chain, that these giant crocodiles would actually hunt and eat dinosaurs. You can see these dinosaur skeletons. Do you think it'd be scarier if dinosaurs really were skeletons? Like, to imagine like dinosaurs running around as big scary skeletons attacking each other. That'd be crazy. And here's the actual Dippy, the Diplodocus. We saw the statue outside. It says that this was discovered in 1898. And it was in the newspapers that the largest animal ever had been discovered. And Andrew Carnegie, right there, the steel billionaire, he saw the newspaper headline and he decided that he wanted to purchase this dinosaur to display in Pittsburgh. So Carnegie pulled out his big fat checkbook and purchased Dippy for the people of Pittsburgh.
You know what that tail is? This is one dinosaur.
There's a sauropod footprint there. I put my foot in there to see that my foot indeed much smaller than a dinosaur's footprint. Here we have a dinosaur with its skin on. This is Psittacosaurus, and for some reason he looks like a shaved porcupine. Now this is definitely something that is different from how I was taught about dinosaurs in my childhood. You see the dinosaur there with feathers. It says that it was in 1995 that this determination was made. It said, I know back then they talked about dinosaurs being similar to birds in a lot of ways. It says that in 1995 a fossil was found that you can actually tell that the dinosaur has feathers on its body. You can see the two very impressive T-Rex skeletons there. This is something really magnificent. This blew me away the first time I came here. This is the first T-Rex ever discovered, and it was from this skeleton right here that the name T-Rex was bestowed. So the OG original T-Rex discovered by humans right here in Pittsburgh. Then we have this Triceratops skeleton hiding under this tree, hoping that the T-Rexes don't notice him, because we all know the T-Rex's favorite dinner is Triceratops. Now we've moved into the Ice Age mammal section. You're looking at this Mauropus. And I love the way that they display the animals here. You can see what the animal looked like on this side, and then as you move to this side, you can see their skeleton. So you can see the inside of the animal on this side, and then just walk to this side and see the outside of the animal. Look how tiny these ancient camels are. I don't think they'd be able to bite me and wrestle a bucket of food away from me, do you? Here's the evolution of the horse, which is really fascinating. You can see they start out as this teeny tiny horse, about the size of a cat. You can see the final horse there and the original horse there. And and then they just grew and grew and grew and became the horses that we know today. See, the original horse, we would have never Never been able to ride that. So the rhinoceros graveyard. All these bones were found here, broken up pieces all mashed together, and these are all rhinoceros bones. It's saying they don't really know what happened. They said it might have been some sort of natural disaster that killed all these rhinos and ground up their bones. You can see the bison there. But as we move to the side, we can see the inside of a bison. You see that big hump on their back, actually bones. It's like they have ribs in their hump. See the ultimate battle here, the wolf versus the saber-toothed tiger. The battle between cat and dog that just raged on since prehistoric times. And of course, if you want to check out the other side of the ultimate showdown, you can see their skeletons attacking each other instead. We have a big old mammoth there. Now, most museums frown on you hugging and petting the taxidermy, but over in this section, they actually let you pet the taxidermy, so we can actually see what it's like to pet a lion. Let me get in that mane there. Hey, buddy. Oh, I'd love to be able to pet a real lion. You can see this lion's been petted so much and loved so much that some of the furs come off the lion's nose there. Hey, buddy. Love my lion there. He wants to wear my hat. You know what, lion bagger? I think you're my best friend. Even have a little lab over here where kids can examine the taxidermy. They keep them in these boxes so they're safe, but you can actually pick them up and move them around, get a better look at them. What do we got over here? Got some skunks. Little skunk box there. Hey, Skunky. Little beaver box. Hey there, beaver. What you been doing? You've been making dams and chewing down trees and all that fun stuff. Chaos reigns. I've heard of a crow bar, but never a crow box. See all these interesting displays here. Little, I think that's a chimpanzee skeleton. And then over here, we have an exploded human skull. It wasn't like blown up like by a bomb or anything like that, but they will set them like this, break them apart and set them like this so that you can see all the different components. Not only can you pet a lion, you can also pet a bear. Again, it says please touch down there, and guess what? You don't have to tell me twice. I always wanted to pet a bear. You never get to pet real bears, so this is the next best thing. I love the taxidermy petting zoo they have here at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. Again, lots of people love petting a bear. Have petted off a little bit of his fur on his nose. That's one of the reasons they don't usually let you pet taxidermy, because you can rub some of the fur off. Also, a lot of taxidermy is made with arsenic, at least older taxidermy, but I'm going to assume this one is not riddled with arsenic. Love my bear. Such a good bear. Good old bear. And look, everybody, it's the Carpetbagger. Carpetbagger. Here's a depiction of the La Brea tar pits. We see the unfortunate buffalo there stuck in the tar. These lions are laughing at him because they don't care. And yeah, all these predators lurking around. This giant vulture up in the tree. There's even some wolves back there as well. And then we have these enlarged bug displays. You can see those are termites. Oh man, they're pretty gross. No, not the bees. Not the bees. Imagine if bees were that big. Imagine if bees were the size of my hand, but their stings would really hurt. This section here called the Art of the Diorama. And of course, I've been fascinated with museum dioramas since I was a little kid and first started visiting museums. So let's look into the art of the diorama. Here's a diorama of some birds. This is like a Victorian era display. And I have learned going through museums that Victorians love nothing more than to fill a glass box full of birds. The northern raven here. And these are some actual giant ravens. You can see the geese hanging out there. And I do love in the old style museum dioramas how they would include the painting in the back to kind of give a feel of openness. Here's another Victorian bird display. They have a spoonbill encased in there. Just a really odd way to display whole birds in a frame. Here we have the red-footed booby. You can see the adult birds there and the little baby bird calling for its mother. And then, you know, I love the detail in these too, whether you can see like little animals. You can actually see there's like lizards crawling around. You kind of just stand here and look at the scene and look for little details. Always fascinated by the water dioramas in museums when they have like the water line and you can see the animals and creatures above the water line and then drop below the water and see what's going on in here. See the fish all swimming around. There's a nighttime scene of the ultimate showdown. Skunk versus owl. Entering into the Hall of African Wildlife, and just look at this. This is incredible. Being greeted by this amazing tableau of crocodiles. Because these are like crocodiles swimming underwater. This is really cool. I don't think I've ever seen taxidermy display quite like that. It's giant crocodiles. There's just a question I'm curious about that I wanted to throw out to the viewers. When you are in museums, do you take time to watch the videos or movies that are on display? Just curious. Leave a comment in the comment section.
It's just plain fun.
Over here we have the ostrich. Looks like it's guarding its eggs. And then the massive giraffe all the way up there. There's a fennec fox there. He's got himself a little gerbil for dinner. You can see a whole giant African tableau here with the water buffalo, zebras, up to another giraffe. Crossing over into the Hall of North American Wildlife. Okay, a slight warning because this tableau is kind of terrifying. There's a family of jaguars, and they are ripping apart an iguana. Just the babies, the adorable babies, are just tearing apart this poor unfortunate iguana. You can see these adorable polar bears having a family moment here, but they're not drinking Coca-Cola. They're drinking seal blood. See the massive walruses there. Here's the Hall of Botany. There's no animals in these tableaus. It's all just plant life. And you can see they've set up some furniture here so you can just relax and enjoy the plant displays. Okay, I was wrong. There is some animals in here. There's a few chipmunks in this forest scene. You can see the Mount Rainier flowers there. Again, a few squirrels in there. And then we have a little outdoor herb garden here. A replica herb garden. Oh, you try to guess the smells here of the herbs. They have little bottles there that you squeeze and try to see if you can tell which herb they are. Let's give this a try. Is it paprika, maybe? Oh, tarragon. I was way off. See these sure-footed mountain goats climbing up the perilous side of a mountain. And here we have the ultimate showdown, the bald eagle, icon of America, versus the three bears. See, they're trying to get those delicious crab legs from the bald eagle, but he represents America, so he's willing to fight three bears in order to have his delicious crab leg dinner. Yeah, some of these displays are a little bit graphic when it comes to animals eating their dinner. There you have the bears there ripping apart that delicious salmon, and you have a little seagull back there enjoying his fish head. Run away! Run away! Here's the mammals of Pennsylvania. I was looking for the possum down in the lab downstairs. I didn't see him, but there we go. There's our little buddy. See the lady elk over there. These two man elks trying to determine which one is the toughest. Guess whoever wins the fight gets the ladies. And the loser gets eaten by vultures. Actually, oh no, this particular elk here has actually been shot with an arrow, but I guess the hunter didn't get to it in time. Now its bloated carcass is being eaten by vultures. Over here we have the T-Rex overlook. Maybe catch a glimpse of the T-Rex as we saw earlier. Oh yeah, there you go. Also out here on the T-Rex overlook, have a box full of snakes. Some other specimens here, the giant hellbender salamander. And it says this penguin here was actually from SeaWorld in San Diego. These specimens in this case all died because of encounters with humans. See this lizard here says he was smashed with a rifle butt in a military tent during World War II. And this snake here was actually killed by the police department in Yavapai, Arizona. Here in the hallway of birds, in this case here has extinct birds. You've got the Carolina parakeet up there, the passenger pigeon, one of the saddest cases of humans killing off an animal, and then of course the poor dodo here. I don't think this is an actual taxidermy dodo, but a recreation. And sadly, they lived alone on an island. They didn't have a lot of predators. In fact, I think they had no predators at all. So when humans showed up, they literally had no self-defense mechanisms. And humans, you know, they did what humans do. They killed them all. There's so many birds here in the hallway, those giant penguins there. Now this is pretty amazing here. This is a display on fictional birds and what their real life counterparts look like. We see Toucan Sam there in front of the Fruit Loops box with a dead toucan laying in front of the box. There's a Tweety bird with a dead canary in front. This is kind of, you don't know, this is kind of morbid. There's Zazu right there with a hornbill. There's Owl from Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh's friend Owl. There's a real owl. And down here there's Opus the penguin, or the old Opus the Penguin comics. And behind it we have a real penguin. There is the Roadrunner with a Roadrunner. You see actually much smaller than portrayed in the cartoon. In the cartoon, the Roadrunner was like the size of an ostrich. Flamingo there. And from the Hall of Birds, we find ourselves in the Egyptian section. Wonder if they have any mummies. You think they have mummies in here?
The ground rises gradually, almost imperceptibly. This increase in elevation represents...
Okay, we do have some animal mummies. There's a mummified falcon there, a mummified ibis, and then, of course, cats were beloved by the ancient Egyptians, and they would mummify them to be buried alongside their human companions. There's an X-ray there of the cats inside of the mummies. See the mummy of the cat there. I don't know if I've ever seen this. There is a mummified fish, a fish mummy. That's interesting. Now this is not a mummy, but it is probably scarier than a mummy. Actually, this is a reconstruction here. This is not an actual mummy. This is how burials were done before the mummy era, where they were just put in a grave with their belongings. Oh, here come the mummies. I shouldn't have doubted them. Here are some actual human mummies on display there. This is the mummy of a small child. Wow. We are entering Polar World here, and they have cranked up the air conditioner, which is a nice touch. I'm not kidding, it is actually freezing in here. Ooh. Have the polar bear right there. Unfortunately, unlike the bear downstairs, we're not allowed to touch this one. And there we have the ultimate showdown, man in kayak versus walrus. You can see this gentleman here scooping up some fish with his fish spear. Oh, look at this. We can actually head inside the igloo here. Oh, wow. You can see the family there. Looks like they are chopping up foxes. Yeah, chopping up some foxes. We've got I think a trough of fox blood there. You know, it's a hard life living in an igloo. Oh no, this poor adorable little seal is about to get a face full of spear. You know, museums can be a brutal place. Some Inuit people there. Got some sled dogs here. It's not Balto. Balto's in a museum in Cleveland, but it does say that these are real sled dogs. They were on display at the Field Museum in Chicago, one of my favorite museums. It says they were on display at the Field Museum in Chicago in 1896. Entering into the Native American section here. Talks about Native American steelworkers here in Pittsburgh. Let's see the Native American steelworker walking along that beam there. See these beautiful beaver top hats, and there's a beaver. That's what the hats are made out of. Talks here about the rise of Native American bingo in casinos there. Here's a traditional Hopi wedding. See people bringing food, the corn there. Guy in the back has some sort of animal over his shoulder. It's a grand looking elevator. Oh, what is that? What am I looking at here? Is that a severed head? So thank you for joining me here today in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We rode up Washington Mountain on the Incline, and then we came over here and visited the wonderful Carnegie Museum of Natural History. I'm a big fan of museums in general, just kind of a big museum nerd, so I love to check out the different museums as I visit cities. You know, leave suggestions. Always looking for new and interesting museums to check out when I'm in different cities. So if you know any museums that I've missed on this channel, leave a comment in the comment section. And I must say, Pittsburgh does have a great collection of museums. Not only do they have the Carnegie Natural History Museum, they have the Pittsburgh Science Center, which is also a great museum, and the Heinz Museum as well. All three of those are great museums that I've been to here in Pittsburgh. Before I go, I did want to say I have heard from the insurance adjuster from Geico, and I have been told that my car is not totaled. It is fixable. They said about $5,000 worth of damage so far, so it is going to be fixed by the auto body shop in Columbus, Ohio. They said it'll be about 3 weeks until they can start working on it, and then it will be I think 3 to 4 weeks until they will get it fixed. So yeah, we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks here before I have to be back in Columbus. And of course that could always drag on, you never know. But yeah, looking about 6 to 8 weeks that I have to make it back to Columbus in order to reclaim my vehicle. So thank you guys for the support. This has been a wild trip, and it's going to continue being wild. We are going to be heading to whatever city wins the poll. I will wake up tomorrow and I will head there. It's either, Lexington, Kentucky, Charlotte, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or Washington, D.C. Those 4 are up for vote right now, but tomorrow morning I'll be waking up, looking at my phone, seeing which city won, and I will be heading in that direction. And we will continue this process as I travel around the country. Thank you guys for your support. If you'd like to help support the channel in other ways, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop, including the Carpetbagger Merman pin. And all that goes to help keep this train on the track, this boat on the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.